to engage with the world without fear, unnecessary fear. I'm not saying fearless where you are inviting trouble. I'm not talking about that. But in your everyday life, how can you not be spontaneous and want to connect with this beautiful world?
Hello dear listener, and welcome to Strolling. In this extended episode, I'm speaking with Vashima Goyal, who's known as an educator and a leader. I wanted to record a conversation with her because I admire how she connects meaningfully with strangers along her way. She finds positivity in difficult situations and also acts as a catalyst for change in her communities. In our conversation, I learned some lessons from her many travels, as well as how to live by simple principles to create a profound life. Her perspectives can be down-to-earth yet deeply philosophical. I hope you'll enjoy her sense of spontaneity and adventure. Let's get into it.
I'm the person who would love to explore possibilities. So even if I'm put in a box, I just jump out of it straight away.
Yeah, I've seen that just spending the last week with you. You're quite exploring and seeking for ways to break outside. Have you always been that way? Did someone show you how to be like that? Did you get it from your parents?
I think if I have to really give that a thought, it would be my most restful me.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm most me when I'm not in a framework.
Right. Okay.
But there could be some chaos around me, but I'm very much comfortable with as things emerge. So even my pedagogy was more an emergent pedagogy. So that, I guess, is in tune with my own personality and choice.
From a child, you mean? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
I could not fit in if I was to give it a set of instructions to follow and not think for myself.
Is that something, it's clear to you now, of course. Was there a point where you noticed, okay, this is actually how I'm comfortable?
Well, every time I meet people and I'm myself, and if I can be myself, then this is the way I am. I never really gave it a big thought about.
Okay.
But if I have to be otherwise, then I know that my patience and comfort level and my preference is to be free.
How nice then. You just sort of always had a chance to be you. Didn't waste too much time doing other things. That's great. Okay, cool. Well, one thing that was on my mind since I arrived here, it's just something you said, and I tend to note things down because it sounded interesting. You were talking about raising your son in India partially as a way to to expose your child to the way things work in India so that they are prepared to deal with all kinds of things in the same day.
Yeah.
And you just talked about this multiplicitous capacity, in all directions, as having to do with being raised in India. What is it that India imparts to a child in that sense?
Okay, let's explore this further. Okay, let's explore it now that you put this question. I'm thinking aloud, and all what I say is actually giving it a thought as to why.
Okay.
I've lived around the world. I've visited, I'm an avid traveler, and there are days where there's not always an ample dose of unexpectedness. There's almost like a repeat, little different but similar. Whereas in India I find the diversity of the visuals, the conversations, the people, the situations, the encounters, they can be very overwhelming. And if you've experienced that, then I think you're very comfortable with dealing with the unexpected and dealing with not knowing, and also having a huge appetite for your curiosity to find and look forward to a multiplicity of experiences and people and the sounds and the smells so I think that to me is a very vibrant life. And vibrancy is something linked to spontaneity, to be engaging very freely. It kind of, to me, it's a very trusting way of going around the universe.
Oh, trusting.
Because you're not always scared of oh, what's going to happen? Am I safe? Am I okay? Can I talk to this guy? You don't have so many hesitations dealing with life. You are out there connecting, and for connecting you need a certain element of trust in situations, that even if you've encountered something very unexpected and not so pleasant, you know you have the toolkits to deal with it.
I would contrast this trust you're speaking of with what at least my experience of the West feels like, where you're conditioned to basically fear things and you don't trust because something might happen. So you have to always check and make sure everything is structured, to reuse our words here. It's a nice contrast, I think, actually, to say that, we learn to trust here. And even in some of my experiences traveling, I've been asked, like, how do you know that's going to happen? And I sort of jokingly say, I just trust, and I don't, of course, have assurances that, the person's going to meet me where they say they are, or that it's going to work out or whatever. But I do tend to do that, and I'm happy that there are so many people that seem to play along with that.
I would not know any other way, to be very frank.
Yeah, great.
How can I not be able to engage with the world without fear? Unnecessary fear. I'm not saying fearless where you are inviting trouble. I'm not talking about that. But in your everyday life, how can you not be spontaneous and want to connect with this beautiful world, and send out that positive energy where you normally attract similar people? So in my encounters, they are rarely that I've encountered a totally switched off mind, and I'm ready to engage with discovering a little bit about each other. And we're so hesitant. We live a life of such hesitation and such holding back of our energy. Because it could be the time, it could be lack of your interest, lack of your own energy. You don't see sense in it. You think it's futile. I mean, you think you're kind of encroaching on somebody else. But if you just drop these so-called barriers, you walk with freedom. And you connect with freedom, and you rejoice the freedom, and even if it is momentary conversation, there is a lot that you have exchanged besides how's the weather. so for me, it's nice. It's a deeper connection.
As someone who's such a connector, do you ever ask people how's the weather? Or
no, I never really have to.
You always have something else? Or? I
would rather ask how are you. Because
I've admired actually the way that you seem to, I guess it is a manifestation of your trust, the way you sort of go about the world, and things just seem to open up in front of you, and you take those opportunities as well, and you meet people and you connect with them, and even strangers, sometimes you find some kind of interesting connection, and then maybe you help them or they have something, and things are just kind of happening somehow, I identify with that. It's something I would also like to be more of. I think I already am that in some respect, but
you are.
I just observe you, and I just wonder also, like, okay, let me collect my words here. I might need to look at this for a sec. You also sometimes will exchange contact information with people. That when it feels like it's mutually beneficial. I'm guessing, based on your travels, you've done that in a lot of places and so across the world, and all kinds of interesting people. Like, how do you manage that? Is that like an information problem, or you just everything comes up in the right moment? Like, for me, if I keep people's contacts, it just kind of comes this big pile of stuff, and it's hard for me. So I wonder how you manage this kind of thing. Like,
Rosanna, you make me think. Okay, let me see my process.
Would you like to not think?
No, I can. I love to.
Okay.
And let me see my process. Okay, let's go back a little bit to explain that process. So when you are connecting with the world, there's element of trust, there's element of spontaneity, there's element of respect and acknowledgement of the other, And in all of this, there is a sense of joy. So you see that when you talk about these elements in the way you relate to the world, that the foundation is a joyful person within you.
Right.
Because if you're not joyful, you couldn't be bothered about the other. If you're so much into your own, but when you have an overflow of joy, I think these elements come very naturally manifested in your conversations, in your energy levels, in your reaching out, in your eye connection, and you know who doesn't want to be disturbed while you leave them alone. But when I travel around, I do find that people are normally very happy to engage. And if they're happy to engage, I always feel there's always a reason. That if you've had a conversation, maybe something might crop up.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you something like that as an example. You saw the lady that we were in the shop yesterday?
Yeah, the landowner, yeah.
So can you imagine, out of this 1.4 billion population in India, I connect with the lady who owned the land in which I live.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for me, it makes it so much more interesting to know that, and there was no other way for me to have encountered that unless I reached out and I complimented her because I liked the selection she made. So there has to be a huge authenticity element.
Yeah.
You cannot be faking around.
Yeah.
You can't be fluffing around and taking people less seriously and you think you're just entertaining yourself. No, there has to be a deep designed will and wish to connect, because you're finding something so fascinating.
Yeah.
And we complicate it by restricting ourselves, by not feeling comfortable. So that again goes as one of the ways. If you're joyful and comfortable within your skin and yourself, all this comes very naturally.
Yeah.
So contacts, you asked me about the contacts. How do I manage the contacts? So yesterday I took her call, and she called me back, and I'm just going to make one more call to thank her for the tailor that she's sending tomorrow, and I'm going to just store that number, and if there's anything in the world that I find that it would interest her, I would send her a message and say, hey, I thought of you, and whenever I would think of her, I would just let her know. It doesn't mean that we need to be in constant touch with each other, but it's just that this is a beautiful encounter. Had I not had the conversation, I would not have that feeling of wow within me.
Yeah, I think this gets to the thing that's maybe making it hard for me, because I'm coming from this computer background, and computers, they tend to equalize everything, so all the contexts are the same, and it's just a big list of stuff, and and the way you describe it, it's quite meaning, and you say joy oriented, so it's actually you feel something and that prompts you to seek out the person's name somehow, but you're not managing information, it's
at all.
It's a very other thing. Do you think about that, how, like, I don't know how much you consider yourself like reflective of technology and the tools you use, but the fact that it does this kind of equalization thing, that people, they think about their social networks and their friends on Facebook, conflating that with the idea of friendship in the real world, like how computers impact our way to do things.
I have to coin a word. Now I can't say that this was a friend I met. Obviously she was a stranger, but I connected. And these spontaneous connections, some lead to long-term friendships, some are momentarily authentic encounters, but they're meaningful, they've touched my life. She was glad to know that somebody who's living here on her land now is who she met out of the blue. She was happy. So there is an exchange of joy, and I feel, now this I think I'm exploring it for the first time myself, is that even that momentary exchange of joy makes it worth it. It's not a waste of time. So there's not always, oh, what's in it for me? Is she going to be helpful? What am I going to get out of a conversation? Is it waste of time? Am I encroaching on her privacy? I have so many, we can have so many barriers to stop us. But if you break those barriers, and even that momentary joy that we exchanged of somebody complimenting her for the choice of clothes, and she said such a sweet thank you. So you're noticing. We've stopped noticing people.
Okay.
Because you only notice what is, what comes, what's in it for me kind of thing.
Yeah. I was going to say what's on the profile.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do I make sense when I'm saying this about exploring with you about the whys of?
Yeah, I mean, you're really rooted in the real world here, right? You're not really, it's not, I mean, I feel like you're actually somewhat disconnected from your phone and what it tells you, and like, you know, you do your thing, you do what you want to do, or what you feel, and you follow those kind of real world prompts. Yeah, I guess maybe it's a problem for, I don't think it's just me, because of course I'm a computer nerd, but there's a lot of people a lot of people have their socializing mediated through technology and social networks. So I guess it is an issue for some people. I, for example, I forget that there's a friend of mine that lives in the place that I'm about to visit, you know, and I don't like that, because I would have loved to just think of them, and somehow it just gets lost, and so I feel bad about that. And then I think, oh, it's an information design problem where I have to store my stuff a certain way, but maybe I'm just not connecting enough with them, or and I love the way you phrased it, because it's so selfless in a way. You said, if I think of something that she would be interested in, then I would just send it to her, right? So you're actually just trying to give. So anyway, so I really like that. I'll try and take a page from that and see if I can.
But it's a fun way of going around the world, I think.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Because it still gets you back your joy, and the element of that surprise, and makes your association with yourself and the world very seamless, because you don't feel a stranger.
I would say you travel more than me, which is not...
Have I?
I would say that. I don't actually know how much you travel, but based on just communicating with you in the last 3 months, I feel like, oh wow, she's always traveling. She's like, like you sort of put me on the edge. Anyway, whether that, we don't have to measure that, but like, do you get burned out in some way by moving around a lot? Like, you have also stayed in places
You would have
for a while,
seen that in my day, I have a lot of time just by myself.
In your normal day?
In my normal day, you would have seen that I'm not constantly busy, constantly doing stuff.
You take time for yourself. Yeah.
I take time off, and that's my replenish time to just do nothing sometimes. But if I'm working in my garden, it's me time. If I'm playing with my dogs, it's my me time. If I'm cooking, it's my me time. If I'm chatting with friends, it's my me time. If I'm cleaning up and washing up, it's my me time. If I'm doing community work, it's my me time. Because I'm only doing it because I'm loving it. So that's another element, that I can never feel I'm completely exhausted, that I don't want to see anyone, I've had enough. Life's to be led with everyday challenges, and each encounter is, if you're there 100%, I don't know how to put it, it sounds like very easy kind of thing.
It seems like it's all feeding you.
Yeah, it feeds. I feed on energy that just comes because you're in the world.
Great.
Yeah,
it's nice to be a part of that. But so what you're describing now, for me it sounds like more when you're here at your home, but I imagine you also go to somewhere for like 3 weeks, or take a flight to that side of the world or whatever, and you do that kind of thing. Or you're
but I am still me, because I'm connecting with the reality of that place.
Right.
Whether it is train, or once what happened. Once I wanted to take a train journey, and I got on a train and later realized that I don't have my ticket confirmed, and I had to go back to an unreserved compartment where you have 20 places but 60 people to take it.
Got it.
Yeah. And I said, okay, now what, Vashima? Because I could have been totally destroyed how am I going to go, and I'm hardly getting a place to sit. And I said, that's the test of life that you've been talking about.
Right.
And guess what? I made a film because I chatted with so many co-passengers who were hanging from and resting on the fans and lights and people, and you couldn't walk. I'm going to send you that movie.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, yeah.
And I learned so much. So that's another element that you're talking about. I'm very ready to learn from life.
Okay. So no matter the time zone, or whether you're jet lagged, or flight, or the change in cuisine, or the climate,
No,
or
that's all the outside.
it's all just outside, and you're just doing your thing.
I
and
am
you're
being
happy
inside.
and you're joyful. Wow, okay. I'm so tired. I don't know. I feel like I am. Maybe I'm doing things I don't want to do.
Well, there is some truth in that. Then because maybe I would be tired if I did things which I didn't want to.
Right.
I mean, that's very natural for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm glad it's working out well for you. Yeah, another thing I thought was interesting, you just said that there are no more generalizations. There are no more, you cannot say that this is how things work. I think this can be obvious, but maybe can you explain what you mean by that?
Because of my travels, I realized that there's just not one truth.
Right.
There's always the other side. So if you generalize a certain concept, just the exact opposite is also available in the world.
Somewhere, yeah.
So we can't be saying there's just one truth and that's the whole idea and completely. So when it comes to generalization, if we generalize this part, like say for example, let me give a very off my head, all plants are doing well here.
All plants are doing well?
All plants are doing well here, if I just generalize that. Well, I just have to look deeper, and there are plants that need more help.
Right.
Right? And if I say all plants are dying here, which is also not the complete truth, yeah, there's some dead ones there.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm looking at it that if we are very fixated with the black and white, this or that, right and wrong, then the generalization maybe works with those minds. But otherwise, for me, there is so much of in between, and the way I am most comfortable is also dealing with in between, neither here, neither there,
Clearly,
and
yeah.
somewhere in between. So for me to generalize everything is very difficult.
This might be straightforward once you already see things that way, and I wonder about the many people that seem to not find that so obvious, that they are sort of holding to a certain point of view about something, whether it's politics or how things work in the world, or how things should be. Have you had any experience, like, let's say, have you had experience dealing with people who have very different politics from you and maintaining this kind of
Absolutely.
point of view? Where
Absolutely. But you're always there to learn from the other. It doesn't mean that becomes your point of view or your influence. You still hold your observations as your understanding of the situation, but to recognize that there would be as many point of views, as many people, and how deeply are you listening, because they have formed that opinion out of their own experience, which is very different from my own experience.
right.
So if I say that I don't lock my door, there are people who've had robbery and have had people murdered inside their homes.
Right.
Now, so I cannot say, well, leave your doors open.
Yeah.
You see, but over here, I make that choice because I know I can. But there, it would be foolish to do it.
Right.
So we can't say in one sweep, India is unsafe because I don't lock my door here. And there you can't say it's all very safe, but you're not safe even if you lock your doors.
Exactly. Right.
So that's what I mean about one way of thinking. And I think the thinking broadens when you travel and you see different situations, and you're a keen observer, keen learner, keen connector, exchange of energies, ideas, point of views. You're so much more richer and not out there to prove a point.
Right.
I'm out there to connect, not to prove a point.
That's great. I'm going to steal some of this, yeah. So I'm guessing you would describe yourself as open-minded?
What other words would you give me?
Oh, no, actually, I don't mean to put a word on it. It's more about this term that a lot of people use to describe a certain openness to things or flexibility in thought. I'm actually more curious about if you feel closed-minded about something.
No, I'm open to understanding my mind.
All right, never heard that one.
I'm open to constantly reflect on which part of mind should I listen and which part of my mind has to listen to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you're constantly in a learning process. So
yes, you've got to be a voracious learner to be a voracious traveler.
Okay. I guess I sort of asked this already, but it sounds like I asked when does all of this start, and it sounds like you've been doing this for a long time, or since you were kids. So was there ever a point where, or have you changed your mind about something that was strongly held at some point, or you've always just been flexible like this, or?
I think if nothing else, I'm getting worse.
That's honest.
I'm getting more and more relaxed about stuff in life. So it just makes it even easier to connect.
You were getting worse to describe yourself getting more flexible. Why do you call that worse? Or did I miss something?
Yeah, no. I feel I'm getting worse because I'm more open to possibilities. My appetite for exploring possibilities has even become even more in the sense I'm okay not knowing, I'm okay living in the now, I'm okay with whatever is to happen. I can deal with it. I feel far more having a larger set of life skills and toolkits in my experience to handle any situation. And I also don't care what people think about me anymore. So I don't have any social pressure of any kind.
Okay, so you mean worse as in I'm just getting more and more open and there's no going back?
Yeah, there's no going back.
Right,
Let's put it this way.
That's fine. Yeah, I like it anyway, but it doesn't matter what I think. So. What does spirituality mean to you?
Everyday life. And living in gratitude and appreciating the world.
It sounds like you're really practicing actually quite a lot, because the way you talk about it.
And give more than you get. Whether it's energy, whether it's kind, whether it's experience, whether it's food, whether it's company, whether it's whatever. Whatever you have, give more than you take. And I think the world is going to be very good to you.
Yeah. Is that like a kind of... Is it really that simple for you, or are you just giving me kind of the summary version?
No. It has to be simple. Life has to be simple. Okay, that's another thing that I kind of erased from my words. My word from my life dictionary is complicated. I can't complicate stuff too much. There's no point. Even relationships, even responsibilities, even everyday life. Just make it simple. Can't make it complicated. Like I can't be dwelling on the past too much, because the lessons that I learned is what made me today who I am. And if I'm comfortable with that, I don't have to keep going back to remind myself and the world of some unfairness or some disappointment or some grief or... All of that made me today who I am. And if I'm comfortable with who I am, I'm grateful for all that the life opened up for me. And put me in those situations where I came out and I'm comfortable now.
You said you removed it from your life dictionary.
Yeah, complexities.
Which means there was a moment, something happened that triggered this.
Maybe just a series of observations of people's lives. Like they would have everything. Like they'd have house, all the creature comforts, and yet they have problems here. I mean, why do we have to complicate everything so much? So if you have everything, rejoice and enjoy without having this need to have it your way all the time. Just flow with the stuff. And enjoy every moment. I mean, there is one thing that I do often say, that it's been a practice where I try and tap the potential of each moment that I'm alive. So if I was to make sense of the time that we are spending together, for the time that we are sharing and exploring, I'm very authentic about that moment. Because that would be only respecting your time and my own time. Why would we want to fluff around if we didn't have that authenticity in our exchange?
You brought up people having everything and not being happy. I'm not really sure the best way to ask this. Also, you don't have to answer this if you feel like it's a weird question, but I get the sense you know a lot of people that maybe they're doing well for themselves, or they have a higher social class or standing or something. Do you feel like, different from them in the way that you approach things?
Well,
if that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, no, for sure. But different as in everyone other than myself would be the other, right? Right? I don't have to bring in my social definitions of higher, upper, middle, lower. It doesn't matter, but you are the other if you're not. Other than me, it's the other. So when I keep my ears, eyes open and listen deeply to the other, it gives me great insights about myself. Do you make that connection?
No.
Okay, so let's look at this way, that because you are listening deeply, people generally share not just how's the weather, and in that moment you are authentic, so people feel safe and comfortable if you're going to have a deeper conversation. And then you realize that there is there is only one of me and there's only one of the other. But there are many others, right? Many others that you encounter. So everyone is going to have a different life, but there is one commonality as to our own approach to life, our own attitude to life. So for example, this question, if I have got it right, let me explore it in another way. I see very rich people who just got just about everything one can dream of, and still not hugely embracing life with a huge amount of gratitude. Okay, that, let's just say a bit of generalization. Okay. But I've seen this commonality where people are more frightened, more what does he want from me, how can he talk to me. So it's me with all my riches, which is very inflated, a sense of entitlement and sense of a very thin skin as to how come somebody could tell me this, all of that. So let's say a whole lot of other manifestation. And then I see people in the fields with so little under a hut, out in the sun, children playing, no shoes, and there's still a joyful of the other, in a totally opposite situation. So what does that say? That all that I possess is not going to make me happy. My possessions are not me. My possessions are not going to make me happy. If they were, then all rich people in the world would be the happiest people, which you know they are not.
Nice.
Right? They would be more bitter if they didn't have the money, because poverty is not something that you kind of are, one way of happiness. Not at all. It just is the worst kind of curse. But because possession and you are different, the happiness between this whole upper crust that we look at and the ones that I also deal with in everyday life and encounters, there's so much more gratitude, there's so much more gentleness, there's so much more purity, there's so much more acceptance, and yet there is no less ambition in wanting to do good. So that's why it can't be generalized. So when you start observing all of this, it just makes sense when you reflect that the possessions are not you, so whatever you own and have is not going to decide your happiness, but absence of it may make you more unhappy. That's different. So having something and then being able to give more than you get is a good equation that I find that energizes me.
Yeah, I can see how being generous can make you happy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, I wish I could be more generous. And that's what I want to grow up to be now. Okay. Be more generous, more open, less hesitant about connecting.
Yeah.
All of that.
You're still growing up?
I'm still growing up.
Yeah.
Because I'm still learning from life.
Right. So learning is growing.
Learning is growing. Learning is living.
Right.
And what better teacher than life?
Yeah.
Sometimes I do tell people when I meet that all of them are like pages in the book of life, you know. So each one I need to just interact with and get my essence of that moment.
Yeah.
And feel so enriched and thankful. The people do stop by to talk to me when I talk to them. Nobody takes offense. And sometimes my friends, Western friends, would tell me that, oh, you can only be like this in India. I said, really? Let's go check it out.
Well, you proved them wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, people are people all the way.
You find that you can do your thing like that
everywhere.
Outside of Singapore,
everywhere,
USA,
everywhere,
Europe.
everywhere.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah. Because you're not asking for anything. You're not taking anything.
Yeah, you're just giving, or you're just offering something, and it's.
Yeah, maybe just a smile.
Yeah.
But give that smile from the heart.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to have you.
It's been absolute joy.
Yeah.
And what do they say? You will always have a home in my home.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's such a pleasure to be in your wonderful home.
All the best to you always.
Thank you so much.
And it's really nice of you to have it. I mean it, so you know that.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Big hug to you.
Thank you. That was my extended conversation with Vashima Goyal on strolling. If you enjoyed that, you might like my exchange with Denny Ehrlich for his innovative approach to educational tools, or with Carolyn Goethe for her knowledge of community weaving and facilitation, or with Boris Mann for his technical approaches to collective agency. Find all this and more at strolling.rosano.ca. That's strolling.rosano.ca. See you next time, and thanks for listening.